Good morning, everyone. Where are the others?
Coming.
Okay, fine.
Morning, Miss.
Good morning. Hope everyone had your breakfast and is fresh for the class.
Yeah, yeah.
Half of the class is yet to join. So far, what we discussed is that clear to everyone? Okay,
Yes, Miss.
hope no doubts. Okay.
Yeah.
So shall we begin with today's session? Are you people able to see what is being presented?
Yes, miss.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes,
this is
miss.
where we stopped yesterday, the management process. So moving on further, for today's session, we'll be discussing about the Winsberg's managerial rules, which generally discusses about what a manager should do and what are the roles of a manager. So these managerial roles are generally defined or is given by Winsberg. And according to him, generally a manager is being divided into three main roles. The first is the interpersonal role, second is the informational role, and third is the decisional role. So, apart from this, subdivisions are also being given by him. We'll discuss those in detail. So, starting with the interpersonal role. Generally, the interpersonal role is concerned with the interpersonal relationship as well as the social relationship with the subordinates. So, the relation of a manager with his subordinates as well as his top managers in the sense of interpersonal and social. The thing is that generally being represented, or whether it's a role of a leader or passing out the information, all these roles are included in the interpersonal roles. So generally, we can say that the interpersonal roles are being concerned with the interpersonal as well as the social relationship of the managers with his subordinates as well as his topmost managers. The topmost managers, as we discussed earlier, include the CEO and the board of directors. So under this interpersonal roles itself, they are being divided into three categories or subdivision are they. First is the figurehead, the second is the leader, and third is the vice. So talking about the figurehead, as the name suggests itself, the figurehead means the representation. So whenever there is an event, a representation by the manager will be there. For example, let's say that an event is being organized in your college. Okay, this is just a mere example. It is not the example for you people to understand. I'm simplifying it. The thing is that the event is being organized in the college, and your mechanical department is conducting it. So, what generally they do is that the head of the department will be representing in the name of department. This is what the role of manager under figurehead is. So whenever there is an event or any other meeting which is being organized, the manager will be representing on behalf of the whole department or the whole group. That is what the role of the figurehead is. Then the second role of the manager is about leader. Leader in the sense that giving direction. It's not just about giving direction, it also involves understanding the problems, providing solution to the problems, and also giving motivation to the subordinates. Of course, when there is workload and all, sometimes their subordinates might fall back. So it is the duty of the leader to motivate them. So to motivate them, guide them, and to provide the exact orders or exact way. That's what the role of a leader manager is. So, and under this interpersonal role, the second main duty is about the being a leader. Then the third is about a license, which means that the contact for managers with person outside the organization, department, or work unit. So the thing is that if an event is being organized to some other with some other people. The thing is that if your college is having an event with some other college, so your department head will meet or represent you with the or in connection with the other department. So that is what the relation or the contact or representing with the outside world or the outside your unit is known as the liaison. So these are the three important roles of the manager and the interpersonal. So interpersonal, to summarize, we can say that it is generally the relation of a manager with the subordinates, and it includes the interpersonal as well as the social relationship. So under this, further it is being categorized as the figurehead who shows as a representative, then being a leader, and the third is a liaison who represents the organization outside the boundaries. So these are the interpersonal roles. Now, moving on to the informational roles. Information role of the manager. As the name suggests, it is about providing information to his subordinates as well as the topmost managers, including the CEO and the board of directors. So, under this also, there are three main subdivisions. The first is about being a monitor, then it is about being a discriminator, and third is about being a spokesman. So, what is monitor? A monitor manager role, we can say that it is about gathering the information. The person, the manager, will be gathering information from different parts, might be through a meeting, else The thing is that might be through phones, memos, then some other social and public gatherings, then also through internal and external environment. So the process of collecting the information, this is what the monitor does. Then coming to the role of the disseminator. In this disseminator, what the manager does is that once he collects the information, this information will be passed on to others. Means who have to be given this information and who not have to be given the information. The thing is that once we collect the information, some information have to be passed on to the top level management. Else the thing is that some other information will be have to be passed on to his subordinates. So this is what his role is about, passing on the relevant information to the subordinate. This is the role of the disseminator. Then we can say about the role of a spokesperson. Spokesperson means that managers deliver the specific information to particular individuals and the groups located outside their department or organization. So the thing is that when they conduct a press conference or when they have a meeting with the other board of directors or when they are having a gathering with some other social groups, they will be passing on the information or they will be talking about their organization. That is what the role of a spokesperson is about, which means that if they are beyond the boundaries. The thing is that if they are representing them in some other platform, they will be passing the information of their organization. They'll be talking about their organization to other members or to the other society. So this is what the role of the spokesperson is about. So under informational, again, they are being categorized into three, that is monitor, disseminator, and the spokesperson. Monitor, what it generally does is that collects the information. Disseminator is about passing on the information, and spokesperson is about talking about whatever information you have beyond the restricted boundaries. That's what the informational rules are about. Then the last is about the decisional rule. In this decisional rule, it, as the name suggests, the manager will be taking decision or making decision on the basis of interpersonal as well as informational rules. The thing is that whatever information he has received through or whatever message or knowledge he has gained through interpersonal as well as informational rules, on the basis of that, the decision will be. So in this decisional role, further they are being categorized as the entrepreneur, the disturbance handler, the research allocator, and the negotiator. Coming to entrepreneur. The entrepreneur role is about, as the name says, you people hope you understand who an entrepreneur is. Entrepreneur is the owner of the organization and the person who takes major decision and manages the organization. That's what the entrepreneur is. So the role of the entrepreneur will be taken into consideration in this entrepreneur role. What we make sure is that organization is moving on the right path with right innovation, with right technology, and also whenever there is any change in the environment, that is in the business environment, whenever there is a change, this organization is also making change according to it. Whenever there is an emergency, the organization change accordingly. And also the thing is that new innovation happens in the industry. Also, there are new technologies which are being given as an input to the industry. All this decision will be made by the entrepreneurial manager. Then the other decisional role is about the disturbance handler. As the name suggests, we can say disturbance handler, which means that whenever there is a disturbance, the manager will be handling it. So the thing is that whenever there is a chaos in the organization, the thing is that sometimes strikes might uprise or sometimes the technological degradation might happen. So to appraise it when the disturbance occurs in such situation to appraise it. All this disturbance will be handled by the manager. So whenever there is a chaos or whenever there is a commotion, the disturbance handler manager will be taking righteous decisions. It is very important in the sense that if the righteous decision is not made, then the organization will not thrive, will not be in profit. If more disturbances are there, if more chaoses are there, the output cannot be achieved, and finally, the organization will put into loss. So, this is what the disturbance handler's role is about. So, take the right decision to guide them and also to provide or to avoid unwanted situations within the organization. Then coming to the reserves allocator. Reserves allocator, we can say that allocation of physical as well as the human resources. Physical resources in the sense that it is raw materials and also the financial resources. So, whenever there is an organization, we do need physical resources. That is, the raw materials are required to produce the goods and services, and also the finances required to run the business, and also the human resources. That is, the staffs are required for all this production process. So, how much of the resources are required and how much we have to put into use and where all we have to use and what all we have to use, all this decision will be made by the resource allocator. This is what the decisional role as a resource allocator is about. Then coming to the negotiator. Negotiation, you people might be familiar with. The thing is that to protect and to promote the interests of the department. So the thing is that uh, to showcase what your department means or what your department doesn't want and what is your point of view, there will be a negotiation. That's what the role of the negotiator is. Okay. So in this also we can say that, for example, the negotiation with the union leaders is an example. So, and also to address the grievance of the subordinates is an example. So, this is what generally the role of negotiator is. So, these are the managerial roles. Hope it is clear to you. So, just summarizing, we can say under managerial roles, it generally discusses about the roles of the manager. And according to Mintzberg, his full name is Henry Mintzberg. He's an Canadian academician. He's from Canada. So, according to Henry Mintzberg, he has given three important roles to the manager. The first is the interpersonal role, the second is the informational role, and third is the decisional role. And under interpersonal role, it is the figurehead, leader, and the liaison. And the informational, it is about monitor, disseminator, and the spokesperson. And under decisional, it is the four, that is entrepreneur, disturbance handler, resource allocator, and the negotiator. So this is what about the managerial roles according to Mintzberg is about. Now, moving on to the next and the most important topic, that is the internal and the external environment of management. So, whenever there is a management, whenever there is an organization have to work within as well as outside. So, when they are interacting within and the outside, the environment or the environment do exist. So the interaction and how it causes or how it affects the management is being discussed here. So as the name suggests, we can say that the internal is about the internal and which is within the organization. The environment which is present inside the organization will be taken into consideration. And when we move on to the external environment, it is the outside world. When the organization interacts with the outside world is being taken into consideration. So talking about first, we'll discuss about the internal environment. The case of internal environment, Everything inside the firm that might affect the ability of the managers to pursue certain actions or strategies will be taken into consideration. Then it includes organization of the firm and resource of the firm, which means that organizing of the firm and resources of the firm exist within the organization, which means that once we have collected the resources and all from the outside, it is the duty of each department to decide what they will do and what they will not do. So it is the internal decision that is being taking place. So this is what the internal environment is about. Then, then we are moving on to the external environment. External environment is everything that is outside the firm. Further, this external environment is being classified or subdivided into two, that is macro environment and the micro environment. So let's discuss that in detail. In external environment, let's start with the environment first. In this micro environment, it is also known as the task environment. What we can say about this micro environment is that the nearest surrounding or the close surrounding of the organization will be included in this. So, for example, as mentioned here, the suppliers, the marketing, the customers, these are the examples. The thing is that though they are present outside the organization, these are the factors which remain very close to the business organization, isn't it? Only if suppliers, only if the marketing, only if the customers are there, the business will thrive or business will progress. So, whatever or whichever factors which are very close to the organization but still outside the organization will form or will fall under the micro environment. So the thing is that first we can some of the micro environment factors, that is suppliers, the suppliers of the raw materials or the semi-finished goods is an example. Then marketing intermediaries, uh, those who promote, those who sell the goods and services, and also distribution. All this will come under marketing. So these are the external micro environment. Then customers, of course, the final buyers of the products, whatever we have produced. Is though they are, it is not, we cannot say that yeah the customers are present inside the organization. No, the customers are not within the organization, they are outside the organization, isn't it? So but the fact is that they are very important and very close to the organization. Why is it so? Is in the sense that once we produce the goods and services, it is finally the customers who buys the products, or it is the marketing people who markets it, or we can say that it supplies who supplies the raw materials. So these, without these people, the business cannot thrive or business cannot progress. That's why they are considered as very close factors but still outside the business organization, and therefore falls under the micro environment. Apart from these three, we do have the competitors, the other similar organization or the same business, the organization which are in the same industry. For example, we had been discussing about the toothpaste industry. So in the case of the toothpaste industry, the Colgate is still there, close up is there, then what all, the Neem is there, all these stuffs are there. So the competitors are also there. So these are also the very close environment. Then, so therefore falls under the micro environment. Then the public. Public is in the sense that we cannot say that they are the customers. Customers are those who buy our products, but the public, we can say that it refers to the cluster who has actual or potential interest in the business activities. The thing is that how this firm should develop. And also the thing is that in the present world, we have to take into consideration the need of the public. For example, when an organization is being set up, if an industry is being set up, if there is a pollution, it should not affect the environment as well as the public. It affects the public health, isn't it? So the public, apart from the customers, the public is also a main concern in this present era. So this is what the public refers to. Though they are present outside, of course, the public is present outside the organization. They are a very important and close factor of this organization. That's why they fall under the micro environment. Then coming to the financials. The financials are that those who provide the financial support. The financial support we can say is that the commercial banks, the money lending institutions, and of course the private people do provide money or lend money to the business operation. These are these people will also fall under the micro environment. The thing is that money is very important, the finance is very important for a business to grow and develop. So, though they are present outside, we cannot say that the bank is within the organization. Never. The bank or what are the financial supporters are present outside the organization. That's why they fall under the external environment, but they are very close and they are very much important. So these are the micro environment factors. What we discussed was the suppliers, then the marketing intermediaries, the customers, the competitors, the public, as well as the finance. So these are the micro environment factors. Then moving on to the macro environment factors. The macro environment factors is that these are close to the organization, but not as close as the microenvironment. In the case of microenvironment, what we can say is that it is generally depending or generally concerned to a firm. The thing is that we can say if there is a problem with the financial or if there is a problem with the customer, it affects only that firm. It is not that it will get affected by the whole industry. If, for example, the thing is that if the Colgate product is not good, the customers will be having problem with the Colgate toothpaste only. It is not that they won't use any other toothpaste. But so that's why it falls under the micro environment factors. But in the case of macro environment factors, the thing is that if there is any problem, the whole toothpaste industry will be affected. It's not just the Colgate, but the whole toothpaste industry, including the other close-up, whatever, Miswak, name, whatever the products are there, whatever the brands are there, the whole industry will be affected. Those are the macro environment factors. So the macro environment factors are not as close as micro environment factors, but do affect the business environment thoroughly. So some of the macro environment factors are the economic environment. Of course, when there is a change in the economic condition, the whole industry will be affected. For example, let's take the present situation, the COVID pandemic situation. Because of this emergency, because of this pandemic, the economic situation, the economic structure has been what destructured or it has been greatly been affected. So what happens is that all the industries, all the business organizations are facing difficulties, isn't it? So this is a macro environment. Then is about the political environment. Political environment is that it depends upon the political aspects. Sometimes you must have heard that in some countries, the private organizations are not being supported by some of the governments. So it is a political environment. It is the political environment of that country. So when the government does not support any of the private organization, the thing is that the private organization cannot thrive or cannot grow or do business in that country. So the political environment will also affect the organization working. Then the thing is that technological environment. Technological environment, we can say that uh, it depends upon generally we can say that the technology helps in the development of the nation. So what type of nation you are in, whether it's a third world country or a developed country. So in that case, the technological implication might be different. So the thing is that if US company is there and the business is being done in US, the technological upgradation is very high in it, in US as compared to India. So that will also affect their working environment. So this is also a macro economic, macro environmental factor. Then coming to the social environment. Social environment is in the sense that it is about the tradition, value, beliefs, poverty, literacy, life expectancy, and all. The thing is that, for example, we had been discussing, I think so. For example, let's take the case of KFC. In, when KFC has been launched in India, we have seen that in, even in KFC, they are providing a wide varieties of veg products, isn't it? So it is that this business have to consider the customs and tradition that is being followed in India. So all this food industry, whoever there are in the food industry business, the thing is that when they are doing uh, what business in India or a country like India, they have to means include or start a branch for veg products as well, since our custom and tradition believes so. So that is what the social environment is about. Depending upon the social structure, this tradition, the customs, values, and all, the business will also have to change, and the working of the business will be affected. If a country is a poor country, the thing is that we won't be able to sell a luxurious product, isn't it? So we have to produce accordingly that can support the poor people. Such kind of goods have to be produced. So the social condition of the country will also affect the working of the. That's what the um, what macroeconomic factor of social environment is about. Then coming to the cultural environment is almost similar as the social environment itself, but it also includes the activities such as the dance, drama, music, and festival. So the thing is that in this we have to understand for what knowledge or what belief, what art forms, what morals, and what all laws are being followed in a country or within a group of people. So accordingly, we have to change it. So that's what the cultural environment is about. So for today, this is enough, I guess.
Okay.
Okay, but
Thank you, teacher.
Thank you. Thank you.
eight. Now, is there any doubt?
No, Miss.
You must be having some doubts.
Sinan.
Are you thorough with what we discussed today?
Somewhat.
Okay. Was it clear to you people?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so
Share the PPT.